A video about our city's reproductive medicine center went viral in the group. The surveillance footage showed a man and a woman crammed into a single room for men. The scene soon became unbearable to watch. The woman in the video is wearing a nurse's uniform and has a graceful figure, which is very eye-catching. I accidentally clicked it, but my attention was drawn to a red tattoo on the back of the nurse's neck. This tattoo. The location is exactly the same as my wife's. The excitement starts right away. If you like it, please help and click to subscribe. The company recently negotiated a big contract and the entire team worked overtime for 17 consecutive days. In the boring work, colleagues can only watch some joke videos to entertain themselves. Hurry up and watch the video I posted in the group. Robert, a young man who just joined the company last year, was shouting loudly. I took out my phone listlessly and opened the group chat. A man and a woman sneaked into a single room, and they were very affectionate for a while, and soon it became indescribable. At first glance, the woman has a really good figure. Of all the women I have ever met, only my wife has such a good figure. My classmate sent it to me. It's in our city's reproductive medicine center. This is the room where you can get your period done. Robert also kept talking about this video loudly. Several colleagues also sighed in admiration. TSK, the treatment at this center is so good. They can even provide individual reception? Oh, it makes me want to go. Go ahead, Robert will send your video to the group next time. Boring. I muttered and wanted to put down my phone. Brother Lin is a married man, he doesn't care about this stuff, unlike us old bachelors who get excited when we see a woman. I smiled arrogantly. As one of the few men in the group who got married early, I was quite proud of it. Now that I think of it, I really miss my wife. I have been working overtime for so many days, leaving home early and coming back late, and I haven't had a good talk with her. My wife is studying nursing and is very busy all day long. It has been a long time since we had the chance to go out on a date or go shopping. No, doesn't my wife work at the Municipal Reproductive Medicine Center? My heart skipped a beat. Suddenly I felt that the back of the woman in the video looked a bit like my wife, Sophia. I hid in the bathroom with my phone and played the video frame by frame. The more I look at her, the more disappointed I feel. Whether it's her figure, hairstyle, or some habitual movements, they are all eerily similar to my wife. Unfortunately, this video has no sound and is rather blurry, so we cannot hear the two parties talking. When I reached the end of the video, I was completely stunned. The woman in the picture has a small red tattoo on her neck. Even the location of the tattoo is exactly the same as my wife's. I was in a daze and didn't know when I walked out of the bathroom and returned to my workstation. Why do you go to the bathroom just to watch a video? Are you old married men so strong? My colleagues teased me. But I was too lazy to care and sat down numbly like a zombie. How could I share this kind of thing with outsiders? I could only force myself to smile and get away with it. Working overtime is too tiring. I am numb. Let's work faster so we can finish earlier and leave work sooner. For the rest of the day, I was distracted and absent-minded. I can't connect my innocent wife with the slutty woman in this video. Even if they work in the same company, do the same job, have the same body shape and habits, and the same physical features. My wife and I met 7 years ago. At that time, she had just gone to the hospital for an internship. She got off work late and was walking at night when she was spotted and followed by a gangster. When she realized she was being followed, she ran and shouted for help. I was taking a walk at the time, so I stepped forward without hesitation, drove away the thugs, and escorted her home. She was extremely shy at that time. When she said goodbye to me at the door of the unit downstairs, I could see through the dim street lights that her ears had turned completely red. From then on we gradually became familiar with each other. It took us 2 years from the time we met to the time we fell in love. It took another 3 years from dating to getting married. She is a somewhat traditional girl, shy about matters of the heart, and her face turns red when she holds hands with me outside. How could such a pure and shy girl do such a thing? But I can't ask her. If it really isn't her, it would be too hurtful to her if I don't trust my partner. Finally, it was time to get off work. I still had a lot of work to do, but I couldn't care less. Amid the surprised looks of my colleagues, I picked up my bag and walked out of the company gate. When I got home, my wife hadn't come back yet and the house was empty. I forced myself to calm down, rummaged through the refrigerator, found some vegetables and meat, and went into the kitchen. My wife didn't come back until after 9 o'clock in the evening. Why are you back? She was very surprised to see me. Normally, I would still be working overtime at the company at this time. I was a little tired today, so I came back early. Why did you come back so late? I asked casually. My wife complained nonchalantly as she went back to the bedroom to change her clothes. Why else? It's because I'm working overtime again. When it comes to overtime, the scenes I saw in the video today come to my mind again. What do you do when you work overtime? She walked into the kitchen in her slippers and opened the rice cooker to serve rice. What else can I do? Sperm collection, IVF, that's all I have to do every day. How do you collect semen? I pressed on. How else can I get it? Why are you suddenly interested in this? She looked at me strangely. Nothing, the food is cold, I'll heat it up for you. I took the food from the table back into the kitchen. Even when we were lying in bed after dinner, I still couldn't forget the video I saw during the day. Every time I close my eyes, the image of the man and woman hugging each other in the video appears in front of me. I fell into a dream in a trance, and saw a man and a woman entangled and playing around. The red tattoo on the back of the woman's neck appeared clearly in front of me. After spending the night in a daze, I decided to take a leave and go to Sophia's workplace to find out what was going on. It's called the Municipal Reproductive Medicine Center, and it sounds very impressive, but when I actually arrived I saw a shabby scene. There was thick dust on the windowsills of the corridor, the white walls were covered with mud spots and footprints, and the air was filled with a foul smell. In such an environment, would anyone really feel safe coming here? I frowned. Just then, the staff of the center noticed me and greeted me warmly. Sir, do you want to donate sperm or do IVF? I was startled by her, and then I said vaguely at noon, I'm looking for someone. She was still enthusiastic. Who do you want to see? Have you made an appointment? Sophia. Who are you? I'm her husband. Oh, okay. I'll take you there. I felt like the way she looked at me seemed to have changed all of a sudden. It felt weird, but I couldn't tell what was wrong. Along the way, the staff member praised my wife highly, saying that my wife was a good person, highly skilled, and capable, and a role model for the entire center. Brother-in-law, you know that we have a lot of things to do in our center, but Sister Sophia never gets irritated or angry. She has a very good temper. She often talks to me about you, brother-in-law, saying that having a good husband like you gives her more motivation to work hard and make more money. After hearing what she said, I felt a little ashamed. My wife praised me so much in front of others and cared so much about our family, but I still doubted her. When I saw Sophia, I asked her out for dinner on the pretext that I missed her so much, and then I walked out holding her hand amidst the teasing looks of the girls around us. This is the first time you come here to see me. My wife looked very happy. I felt more and more guilty. My wife had been working in this company for almost a year, but I had not visited her because I was busy with work. Occasionally when I come to pick her up, I would park the car outside the gate and wait for her to come out. If I hadn't seen that video who looked so much like her, I might have worked overtime at the company today and not come over. If you like, I'll come more often in the future. Come on, can you leave your job? You'd better make money. Sophia has always been like this, generous, gentle, and sensible. After dinner, I drove her back to the office and drove back to work myself. I haven't been to work last night and this morning, and the work on hand has piled up like a mountain again. I was busy all afternoon, and when it was time to get off work, after much hesitation, I decided to leave early. My wife has been suspicious of me these past 2 days, and I have gone too far. I have to go home early and cook a delicious meal to compensate her. She came back very early today. I heard the sound of a key unlocking the door before the food was even out of the pot. It's so nice to smell the delicious food as soon as I enter the house, she sighed. When I'm done with this busy period, I'll cook dinner for you every day at home. If nothing goes wrong, I will be able to be promoted smoothly to a senior position in the company if I can get this deal. By then, you won't have to work so hard without taking a breath like you do now, to seek promotion opportunities. In bed, I hugged Sophia tightly. But she pushed me away and said, I'm too tired. Let's go to sleep. Since my wife wasn't interested, I had no choice but to give up. Until I fell asleep, Sophia, who said she was too tired, showed no intention of taking a rest and kept fiddling with her phone. Half asleep and half awake, I heard her cell phone ringing suddenly. Little slut, are you so unsatisfied? I was about to say something when I suddenly noticed that the person lying next to me had tensed up and was looking at me. The suspicions that were just suppressed today have surfaced again. I pretended to be asleep and didn't open my eyes. Husband? She called me softly. I remained motionless and did not answer. Sophia quickly relaxed and continued typing on her phone. Through the dim light of the mobile phone, I could see her bright smile. They chatted like this for a long time, and in the end she actually stood up and took off all her clothes. While playing the video, he walked towards the bathroom. I wanted to follow, but I was afraid of alerting the enemy. Is this my innocent and young wife who would get shy even when holding hands? It's funny to me now that I still feel guilty about being suspicious of her. The walls at home are not well soundproofed, and I can even hear her laughter in the bathroom from my bedroom. I picked up my phone from the bedside table. 1:58 in the morning. I no longer had any desire to sleep, and listening to the tiny noises coming from the bathroom, I could no longer calm down. She reached out and turned on the bedroom light. The bathroom door was translucent, so Sophia quickly spotted the bedroom light. The noise from the bathroom suddenly became quieter. 2 minutes later, the bathroom door opened and Sophia walked out naked with a flushed face. Why are you awake? It's still early, sleep a little longer. She looked at me with concern. Who? What who? Her big watery eyes showed innocence. If I hadn't heard it with my own ears, I would have been fooled by her appearance. Who is that man? Who is the man who called you a little slut? Who is the man who asked you to take off all your clothes and run to the bathroom to video? I didn't want to keep any veil of shame for each other, so I asked directly. What man, what are you talking about, husband? Sophia still doesn't want to admit it until now. She looks at me hesitantly, as if she really doesn't understand what I'm saying. I didn't bother to talk nonsense with her, so I just reached out and snatched her phone. She wanted to stop me, but the strength difference between men and women was too great, and she couldn't stop me at all. Soon, I opened my phone and found her WeChat chat history. The contact at the top is called Joseph. There was nothing Joseph meant in their conversation. The screen was filled with explicit words that I was too embarrassed to read. Sophia's face turned pale. You know everything? What is going on? Faced with my repeated questioning, Sophia's eyes turned red. She cried and explained to me what had happened. She said that she has been doing this since she resigned from the public hospital and joined this medical center. At first, she felt very painful and embarrassed, but she didn't tell me because she was afraid that I would worry. As you know, our center needs to help male customers to collect sperm. Some customers have difficulty doing this, so they need us to assist them. Not only that, these will be counted in their work performance. If they are not completed, they will only get the basic salary, which is only a few $100 a month. We haven't paid off our mortgage yet, and we're short of money. You know I changed jobs to make more money, so how could I be willing to just get so little money a month? I looked at her suspiciously. So you guys can even do that kind of thing? How is that possible? Sophia denied quickly. She said that their job function is to let the customers take a look and at most take some action, but there is no possibility of further development. We are a regular reproductive center, how could we do that kind of thing? She looked at me with annoyance. Not only that, she also gave several examples to prove that this kind of thing is very reasonable and normal. I was almost convinced by her, but at this moment, I remembered the video Robert posted in the group. But what's going on? I took out my phone and showed her the video. Sophia's expression changed for a moment, then she became calm again. What's wrong? Why did you show me this video? This video was filmed at your workplace. Look at this woman. I paused the video and pointed it out to her. The position of this red tattoo is exactly the same as yours. You doubt me? She raised her voice, looking incredulous. Don't you think this is too much of a coincidence? It just happens to be from your unit, and it just happens to look so much like you? Are you crazy? She pointed at the video. This is not our unit at all. All similar units have similar decorations, but there is no such small coffee table in our unit. She pointed to the video and loudly defended herself. As for this tattoo, there are so many people who look alike. What's so strange about the tattoo being in a similar location? I just didn't expect you to doubt me. I didn't expect that the friendship between us is so fragile. You want to convict me based on this flimsy thing and question me like this? I have lived a clean life for so many years. I have been in love with you and married to you and have never done anything to let you down. So what is the meaning of my life? As she said that, she rushed to the bedroom window, opened it, and was about to climb onto the windowsill and jump down. I was so scared by her that the hair on my body stood up, and I quickly stood up to stop her. Honey, don't be impulsive. Come down and let's talk it out. She struggled madly. I have nothing to say to you. In your eyes, I sleep with other men all day at work. Just watch me die so that you can marry a new wife you can trust. No, 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 no. I tried to comfort her incoherently. I was wrong, I shouldn't have doubted you, Come down quickly, I know it wasn't you. She burst into tears. Michael, you are not a human being. How dare you doubt me like this? I have devoted my life to our family, and not only do you not appreciate it, but you also treat me like this. I apologized hurriedly again. You said, who told me this was the one who caught the adulterer tonight? Why is it that after Sophia's combination of punches, it seems like I'm the one who did something wrong? At this moment, Sophia dropped another bombshell. And I haven't told you before that I'm pregnant. I was planning to earn more money in the next few months so that I can quit my job and prepare for the birth of my baby. But now there's no need for that. I'm just going to live underground with this baby. As she said this, Sophia, who had just been pulled down from the windowsill by me, was about to climb up again. What? Pregnant? I repeated stutteringly. My child? A feeling of ecstasy swept over my heart. Sophia and I had been married for such a long time and had always wanted to have a child, but had never been able to do so. I didn't expect that this child would come like this. But, I still have some unclear concerns in my heart. The woman with the same red tattoo on the back of her neck as Sophia, the man who flirted with Sophia in a gruff voice tonight, they were like thorns stuck in my throat. Sophia seemed to guess what I was thinking, and she smiled sarcastically. Do you feel like the child is no longer yours? It's okay. It doesn't matter. We are going to die anyway. I quickly grabbed her and said, why do you think so? Of course I believe you. You are my wife. Then don't mention this matter again. She hugged the window frame. The night wind blowing on her naked body made me tremble with fear, for fear that she would fall down accidentally. I hastily agreed, don't mention it, don't mention it. Come on, it's cold at night, go back and cover yourself with the quilt. With my support, she walked back to the bed and looked at me with red eyes. I don't have the heart to kill my baby today. If you have any doubts, wait until the child is born and do a paternity test. How could I doubt you? I hugged her tightly. She tried to push me away twice, but failed, so she hugged me tightly. Michael, we will be a family of 3 from now on, let's live a good life. The matter just passed. Although the doubts in my mind have not been dispelled from beginning to end. Anyway, Sophia's pregnancy makes me look forward to my future life. When I think about a little life being born in my family and growing up little by little under my sight, my heart is filled with joy. Because Sophia vowed at the time that she could do a paternity test, I fully believed that the baby in her belly must be my flesh and blood. At my strong request, she resigned from her job and stayed at home to wait for the birth of her baby. She originally wanted to refuse, saying that she could make a lot of money if she persisted for a few more months. But when I thought about my wife making money in that way, I felt suffocated. Anyway, I'm about to get a promotion, and my salary will increase several times, which will be more than enough to cover the family's normal expenses. After more than a month of continuous hard work by our team, we finally completed this big order, and I got the promotion as I wished. In the evening, I invited all members of the team out for dinner. After half a round of drinks, Robert, drunk, held up his phone and said, Michael, please take us to experience other projects. I was in a good mood, so I readily agreed, healthcare or KTV, you decide. He, I want to go to that reproductive medicine center I sent a message to last time to see what's going on. Bah. You are so young and yet you don't learn your lesson. Aren't you afraid of being photographed and posted in the group? I pointed at him, but without much anger. It's not surprising that young people have little experience and are curious about these things. Just taking a look. I'm not going to do it. I think those women are dirty. I've asked before. Let me check which ones I can order tonight. He took out his cell phone and fiddled with it for a while. After a while, he held up his phone and handed it to me like a treasure. Brother Michael, look, this is what we can order tonight. Look at the cosplayer in the middle, isn't he good looking? I glanced at his phone and I couldn't laugh anymore. If I'm not mistaken, the one in the middle wearing a maid outfit is my wife Sophia. I grabbed Robert's hand tightly and said, Are you sure that everyone in this photo is someone you can sleep with tonight? He was surprised by my reaction. Michael, I was just kidding. You have a family, you can't make such a principled mistake. I stared at him intently. Can the person in the middle order it? Robert looked at me in embarrassment and said, Of course you can, but Michael, your sister-in-law is pregnant, it's not a good idea for you to do this. I was too lazy to argue with him anymore, so I just snatched his phone and asked the person on the other end of the phone. But the person on the other end told me that the person in the middle had been ordered by a regular customer, and if I was interested, I could make an appointment for tomorrow afternoon. I shoved the phone into Robert's hand and stood up. I'm so sorry, something urgent happened at home and I have to go out. I've already paid for the bill. Everyone, enjoy your meal. I'll definitely treat you all to a meal next time to make amends. Seeing Robert trying to stop me, I looked at him with red eyes. The good-looking woman you mentioned is my wife. This time he was silent, his eyes dull as he lowered his arm that was blocking me. When I came out of the restaurant, I had drunk quite a bit and was too drunk to drive myself. I tried to hail a taxi for a long time before I finally managed to stop one. City Reproductive Medicine Center. I told the driver the destination, closed my eyes, and stopped talking. The driver was a very William person. Maybe he was lonely driving at night, so he smiled and said to me, "Just finished drinking and went to visit the pornographic area. What a good life you have, buddy." I suddenly opened my eyes wide and looked at him, walking in the yellow zone? Yeah, what else would you do there? You're all grown men, stop hiding it. Isn't that a reproductive medicine center? Can't I just go there to consult about having children? He snorted disdainfully. Who would go to consult about this so late at night? Besides, that place has no qualifications at all. It just hangs a sign of a medical center. You said you went there to consult about having a baby? That's right, if you get a woman there pregnant, wouldn't she give birth to a baby? I didn't want to waste time talking to him, and the driver's words made me even more confused. I leaned back in my seat, closed my eyes, and refused to communicate, so the driver tactfully stopped talking to me. When I arrived at my destination, I threw down a bill and got off the car in a hurry. After walking around the medical center building, I actually heard an indescribable sound outside the window. I moved closer to the direction where the sound came from. Did a car stop at the door just now? A familiar voice, it was Sophia. Who would come here at this time of night? A man responded gruffly. If I heard correctly, this was the voice of Joseph that Sophia had seen on her phone before. Hey, be gentle, why are you so impatient? Sophia said in dissatisfaction. If you don't hurry up, you'll have to go back again. Why does your pretty boy run home every day? Look at your stinky mouth. Let me tell you, your lover and your son all depend on that pretty boy to support them. Your son still has to call him dad. I finally got close to these two people. They were doing such shameless things in a clearing, surrounded by bushes in the middle of the night without even a smack. I was about to go out, but after hesitating for a moment, I hid behind the bushes again, raised my phone, and started taking pictures of the two people. Baby, just wait until I get all the money from that yellow-faced woman at home, and then I will definitely marry you. Humph, I don't believe what you men say. The two flirted for a while, before continuing their actions. I saved the video I had taken, then quietly got up, walked into the medical center building, and found a mop handle. When I returned to the original place, the two of them were so engrossed in their love that they didn't even notice me approaching. I raised the stick and smashed it hard at the man who was moving. Ah! He screamed like a pig being slaughtered and collapsed on Sophia's body. It took him a long time to recover. Who is it? He climbed up with his butt sticking up menacingly. Sophia had recognized me a long time ago and covered her mouth blankly, not daring to say a word. When the man saw Sophia's reaction, he must have guessed something and he immediately backed down. Brother, let's talk it over nicely. I'm a victim too. It's all her fault. She got me drunk and seduced me. Sophia looked at him in surprise, as if she didn't expect him to be so cowardly and spineless. I didn't listen to his explanation at all, I just picked up the mop and hit him with it. This grandson didn't even have the courage to fight back. He just covered his head and ran out of the door naked. I turned back and looked at Sophia coldly. Honey. She rushed over and tried to hug me, but I dodged her by turning sideways. Hubby, listen to my explanation. This is really just a misunderstanding. Sophia, I'm neither blind nor deaf. Seeing my firm attitude, she started crying, making a fuss and threatening to commit suicide again. I know I have let you down. Since you are unwilling to forgive me, I would rather die. After saying that, she stood up and ran towards the door. I didn't say anything. She didn't seem to expect that I would let her run away like that, and she didn't seem to intend to stop me at all. She turned around and looked at me, then cried again, I'll just run onto the road and let a car hit me and kill me. Since you won't forgive me anyway, what's the point of me living? Unfortunately, I had to disappoint her. After she finished speaking, I still had no intention of stopping her. Seeing that I showed no sign of softening, she shamelessly walked back on her own. I cheated on you and you wanted me to die, but what about your child? Don't you want your child either? Don't you know whether it is my child or not? Why don't we go to the hospital for amniocentesis to test the paternity of the child? She probably didn't expect that I had heard everything she talked about with that man before, so I wouldn't be easily deceived by her words. She tried both moves, but to no avail, and she finally lost her temper. He nodded reluctantly and agreed to divorce me the next day. She got dressed and followed me home, where she started packing her luggage under my supervision. I won't get a divorce. I'm still pregnant. Even if you file for divorce, the court will not grant a divorce. She seemed to have suddenly come up with a good idea. She put down the clothes in her hands and looked at me arrogantly. I also won't agree to do an amniocentesis test for paternity. I pulled out my phone and sent her the video I had recorded earlier. Do you want all your friends and relatives to see this? If you're willing, I'd be happy to help. Sophia's face turned pale. How come you're recording? You've already arrived? I urged him impatiently, hurry up and pack up. Leave as soon as the Civil Affairs Bureau opens. I feel sick just being with you now. She looked at me tearfully. Don't you have any feelings for me at all? Why are you so cruel to drive me away? Does it really matter whose child it is? Doesn't he still have to call you Dad? I was so angry at her that my head started to hurt. I turned around and walked out of the bedroom, then sat on the sofa in the living room all night. Early in the morning, I took her and all that luggage to the Civil Affairs Bureau and completed the divorce procedures. All we had to do was go through the cooling-off period and then we'd be divorced completely. When we came out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, the old guy named Joseph was already waiting outside in his car. Sophia laboriously carried her large and small luggage towards his car. I don't want to spend even one more minute watching this adulterous couple. I walked back to my car and drove away. But just because I think this man is disgusting doesn't mean I'm going to let him go so easily. From what he said to Sophia that night, it is not difficult to analyze that this man should be married and his wife has a lot of assets. I sent his photo to my friends and asked them to help me investigate. My friends were very efficient and told me the next day that someone had recognized the man and that he was the manager of a large company. He is called a manager, but actually he has little power. His wife handles all matters in the company, big or small. It is said that he was originally a son-in-law, and his father-in-law gave him several chances when he first came to live with his wife, but his ability was too poor. After doing several businesses, he did not make a penny and even lost a lot of money. He also completely offended several business partners. From then on, his wife and her family were no longer willing to give him any real power and just made him a nominal mascot. I asked someone to introduce me to the man's wife. Hello, what can I do for you? His wife is a very nice person, friendly and decisive. She got straight to the point as soon as they met. Look at this. I took out my phone, turned on the video, and slid the phone down the table. Then I watched the expression on the person opposite me change from confusion to shock, then to anger, and finally to calm down. She calmed down so quickly that I looked at this woman with a higher regard. Why are you telling me this? She looked at me inquiringly. Don't get me wrong. I pointed at the phone and said, that woman is my ex-wife. We just divorced yesterday. She suddenly understood and showed a look of sympathy. Okay, I understand. Thank you. The next day, when I was watching the news, I saw that a man in my city was sleeping on the side of the road after drinking and was run over by a car, breaking both his legs. Remind everyone to pay attention to safety after drinking. Although the news photo was blurred, I still recognized the man as Joseph at first glance. Thinking of the calm expression of that woman yesterday, and then looking at today's news, such quick actions, such a cruel woman, I grinned. Fortunately I didn't offend such a person. Our city is considered to be a relatively safe one, and there aren't any eye-catching cases usually. But this time someone had both legs broken, and all major media outlets immediately followed up and made up stories. Some said he had offended the underworld, others said he was bewitched by some monster. Regardless, the heat of this matter has risen. A large number of reporters flocked to the hospital to get first-hand information. I saw Sophia in the cameras of these reporters. As she studied nursing, she is very good at doing these things. When the reporter arrived, she was wiping the man's body with a wet towel. The expression is gentle and the movements are gentle. But the man was not satisfied. In front of the reporters, he pulled her closer to him and slapped her hard with 2 backhands. You bitch, did you just laugh? How dare you laugh at me? Sophia tried to explain herself hastily, but the man didn't listen and slapped her twice more. The reporters who were broadcasting the live broadcast were so shocked that they stood still. It took them a long time to react and rush forward to stop it. Generally, those who go to the hospital to catch the hot news are strong young men who can calmly deal with the difficulties raised by the patients' families. It is naturally easy for them to stop a disabled person with both legs amputated. When the man saw Sophia being dragged away, he howled like a wild beast in anger. "Why are you meddling in other people's business? She owes me. If it weren't for her, would I have ended up like this?" His furious look is nothing like the name Joseph on his WeChat. When I got home from get off work that night, I saw Sophia waiting for me at the door. "Husband." As soon as she saw me, she stood up suddenly and rushed to me. I reached out and pushed her away. "We are divorced. I know I was wrong. Please, can you give me another chance? I won't dare to do it again." She cried bitterly, but I didn't feel the slightest bit moved. I walked right past her and tried to open the door. "Please, save me, Joseph is not a human being. He asked me to take customers to make money for him. If I don't agree, he will beat me. If this continues, I will die." Sophia's hand tightened around my wrist. She told me over and over again that she regretted it. It took me a long time to realize that Joseph should be that Joseph. I smiled arrogantly. As one of the few men in the group who got married early, I was quite proud of it. My Sophia. I looked at her. Everyone should pay the price for their choices. Since she chose to betray me, she should bear the consequences. She chose to believe a man who was always thinking about how to plot against his wife, and when she wanted to hang out with such a man, she should have thought that her future self would not have a good ending either. This is the life she chose. She deserves it. After rejecting Sophia's request for reconciliation that day, I never met her again. I heard from others that she was not having a good time. I was forced and tortured by Joseph. In the end, she had a miscarriage and lost the child. The doctor said she would never be able to have children again. From then on, Sophia just walked away without a care in the world. Where to go next no one knows. Joseph was so angry that he spread the video everywhere. Afterwards, he was reported by enthusiastic citizens and arrested for illegally disseminating obscene pornographic videos. The police also followed the clues and found out a lot of negative information about him. Joseph looks big and strong, but he is actually a coward without any guts. As soon as he was taken to the police station, he poured out everything he knew. That medical center was also directly reported by Joseph and was completely sealed off. None of the relevant personnel could escape, and they all went in and operated the sewing machines. All the people and things that once made me hate have become a thing of the past. I can finally settle down and manage my own life.